Bonus Episode 1.
This is a bonus episode for The Toll, Season 2, Poison, Control. There's just so much I couldn't cover in the original series. I'm Nancy Simpson. Checkmate. In the partially burned-out house near Kirksville with Jeanette in the 4th grade, she says her father pulled out a chess set. It was on. It was an important activity around the house. Again. He'd win, and not graciously. This is the part of her dad she can appreciate, at least now. "Someday you'll thank me," he'd say. And she does, forcing her to be better, determined, smarter. Her uncle, Dennis's brother, who committed suicide when he was 17, I see that now on his death certificate, he was 17. Well, the story about him probably grew over time, but he allegedly beat the guy who beat the Grandmaster. And he kept books with notes in the margins. Jeanette snagged him, and she says she studied and practiced. The games got longer, more intense, and her dad's trash-talking got more intense, too. They'd put the board on top of the fridge at night, and then Jeanette would dream about the next move. And one day, when she was 12, she beat him. He said, "Nice job, daughter." And then Dennis was pretty much done after that.
Didn't appear that happy about it. And he didn't want to play me anymore after that. I believe we played a time or two more, and I think it went back and forth, but I did end up beating him another time, and then he stopped. If someone would come to the house, which was very rare, but it was just the Mormon missionaries or something, they were younger guys, like age 21 or something, and I was, 12, 13, he'd say, "Well, if you guys want to play chess, you have to beat my daughter first." And I'd say, "Well, shouldn't it be the other way around?" But it just was this source of pride for him. Like, he was glad, I think, that he taught me to play chess so well. But also, he did not take it well. He was not a good sport about it. He wanted to be the winner. So that was the end of our chess.
Flash forward at BYU in Utah. There was a chess tournament. Her lifelong friend Rayanne was pushing her to go for it.
And I actually took the opportunity to go watch a chess tournament one Saturday. Completely intrigued. I'd never seen one before. But they were all set up, and they were mostly only guys in the whole tournament, and Jeanette. And you have 2 hours to play this game, right? And there's a time clock. So you're only allotted so much time for your whole play for this game. But when you push it down, then you start to deliberate and where are you going to put your pieces. And I would see guys just sitting there and thinking it through and where am I going to move? And then they'd finally move their piece. Oh, that's what you move your piece and then you touch the clock. That means it's the other person's turn to go. And Jeanette, it would be her turn. She'd move her piece and touch the clock. And you could see the guy going, "Wait a minute. You didn't deliberate. You didn't give me time to try to figure out what you're doing so I can figure out what I'm going to do." So then they'd deliberate, and they'd try to figure out what and then they'd finally, like, after a couple of minutes, make their move, and then they'd hit their clock, and then Jeanette pick up her piece, move her piece, hit her clock. And she would just beat the pants off of everybody. It was so fun to watch. She was just so good. And an excellent memory. You have to remember that, like where you've played and what pieces went where, and yeah, very impressive.
Jeanette remembers Rayanne had a drink in her hand, and she kept saying, "This is so exciting." Always a positive, fun friend. Jeanette won the first game.
I do remember that there was a guy who completely dismissed me. And he sat down, and I had just been winning in a streak. After the first couple moves, he got up and went to the bathroom. So I had, hit the clock. He comes back, makes a move real quick, hits the clock, takes off, and goes and gets a sandwich. I don't know if he was trying to get in my head or what, but I did notice he had quite a little following. And all of a sudden, just that deep competitive, no, this guy's not going to beat me. Kind of like that deep competitive thing I had with my dad. I started just thinking really hard, and I thought, he's underestimating me. He's got all these memorized moves. All those ones in the chess in the chess books, right? So I thought, he's going to do this because that's what's expected. I think I'm going to throw him a loop. So I ended up setting up like a little herring thing. And oh my gosh, I had thought it forward like a lot of moves. And I thought, if he'll just take this one little bait. And he ended up taking it. And so I tried not to look so excited, but I knew right then I had him. And so I started moving forward, and little by little, he sits down, and then more people are circling until there was a lot of young men with their hands on their chins or looking at each other and smiling. And this guy had both hands up on his temple. And I ended up winning. And it was a big deal. I didn't realize he was a very highly ranked chess guy nationally. This was my first tournament, right? And I only ended up playing, I think, about 8 games. You have to have, I think, 20 to get an official ranking. That guy's ranking was so high that I got an unofficial first tournament ranking of, it was 2150, I believe. I know it was at least the 2100. And it was really unheard of. I didn't play in any more tournaments. I did make the men's chess team.
And Jeanette says they offered to start a women's chess team for her, but she turned it down. She says all the nerdy guys on campus now were waving and saying hi. That competitive spirit. To win? Jeannie would say it blinded Jeanette from the truth of her innocence in all these accusations, that always needing to be right, always needing to win. In an email from August 2013, years after the FBI investigation ended, Jeannie, the mom, wrote, "You still live in that world where you lived as a child, and the things you thought were right always were right, because even when you were wrong, you argued until you completely exhausted your opponent, and they quit arguing. Truth has no place in that sphere." Jeanette says she has a competitive spirit, but she really only fought like that with her dad. Says she wasn't like that with anyone else until the end, with her mom working to get the truth. It's not how her friends describe her. I've never seen it.
My father was very much in demand of attention one way or another, whether he was feeling really great or not feeling really great. With him, when he would start these yelling, screaming, send me these letters that told me, all sorts of things about myself that were hurtful. All right, he's going to accuse me of this, and then I'm going to remind him of when he said that, and then I'm going to go this way. And I'm telling you, this is the basis of a high anxiety girl in formation, right? But I used those logical chess skills of, that's his move, then my move, then his move, then my move. And I was able to calm down in those yelling matches and just be ready for the next line. And it would play out a lot of times like what I thought it was going to play out. The problem is, of course, you add rage and anger in there, and things, anything can happen. But he would start making notes, like after I'd say something, he'd go, yeah, but. And then he'd take notes. And I remember one time he told me, or several times, your sister doesn't even love me. She won't even engage with me. She won't even talk to me. You at least will talk this stuff through with me. Whatever game he was playing, it wasn't chess, but mentally unraveling his thoughts, that game of chess helped me. In a way, him teaching me how to play chess helped me unravel what happened to him later. As much as I could, anyway.
But her success in life can be measured. Jeanette was built to thrive with this competitive spirit, and when it comes to finding this truth about her mom, she is very unapologetic. This game of chess, Jeanette says this game was a dance they'd been doing for years. Jeanette says she may be good at chess, but make no mistake, her mom is the queen. Thank you for listening to The Toll. Please rate and share. It all makes a difference.